What a historic moment. Donald Trump visiting the DMZ, the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea, and actually steps onto North Korean soil, the first U.S. president to do so, and walks back across with the supreme leader, the dictator of the North. The whole thing seemed to come about quickly and unconventionally. Let me read to you a tweet published by Donald Trump on June 28th. He just said, after some very important meetings, including my meeting with President Xi of China, I will be leaving Japan for South Korea with President Moon. While there, if Chairman Kim of North Korea sees this, I would meet him at the border, DMZ, just to shake his hand and say, hello? What an unusual communication. And joining us now to help decrypt it is our friend and expert on many matters, including China and North Korea, Gordon Chang, who has written a fascinating article in the National Interest called Trump's Visit to North Korea is an Alarming Message to China. Gordon, thanks so much for joining us. Why is it an alarming message to China?
Because President Trump is cutting the Chinese out of the denuclearization process. Beijing looks at the Korean Peninsula as its own, that the Koreans are vassals, and it doesn't want the vassals to interact with the United States except on the instructions of the Chinese. Well, here is Kim Jong-un interacting with President Trump, and I think that what the United States is trying to do here is to wean North Korea away from the Chinese. So in Beijing, this meeting is not viewed with a lot of optimism.
Now, they call North Korea the hermit kingdom. I can imagine the paranoia, 3 generations of tyrants always on the lookout for someone trying to undermine them or disinform them, let alone assassinate them. One theory I saw bruited, and I wonder what you think of this, is that by tweeting so publicly, Donald Trump was assured that the message could get to Kim himself and possibly not be intercepted by any Chinese agents or handlers around him. If it was a secret message, a diplomatic message, that might get intercepted. But a public tweet, well, he'd hear about that.
Yeah, well, President Trump is used to talking to people directly, bypassing the media and bypassing elites in the United States. So we shouldn't be surprised if that's true. There were some discussions between Steve Biegun, who is President Trump's North Korea envoy, and between Biegun and his counterparts in the North. But, that's very possible. But in any event, what's occurring here is that Trump, through an act of will and on very short notice, arranged an historic meeting. And this truly was a stunning event.
Well, it's certainly a high-stakes thing. I mean, often there's a political tactic of doing the deal first and then announcing we're going to try to get the deal when you know in advance that you're good. It's like taking a shot. If you could take a shot in basketball from the three-point line, but you already secretly knew how it would go, you could be a lot more confident about that. To put that tweet out there, part of me thought, well, he's got this thing already signed. That's a big risk to take if he didn't actually have this meeting in advance set up.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, the conversation right now would be about how Trump was humiliated by the North Koreans because Kim Jong-un did not show up at the DMZ. This is Trump being Trump and just taking diplomatic convention and breaking it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. In this particular time, it works spectacularly. Now, this is not to say that the North Koreans are going to do what Trump wants them to do, but nonetheless, this is giving them the opportunity. Trump at the Ottawa G7, which preceded the historic summit, the Singapore summit in June of last year, Trump at the Ottawa G7 said this is what he's going to do. He was going to give Kim a quote-unquote one-time shot to disarm. And I think what Trump was trying to do in a broader sense is to make the North Korean feel secure enough in such a favorable environment that he would believe that it was safe to give up his most destructive weapons. This is really bold on the part of President Trump. It might not work, but nonetheless, it's giving the North Koreans the opportunity to do that. And for that, he gets credit for trying.
That's an excerpt from the Ezra Levant show. Every day, I do a video monologue, and then I interview an interesting guest, and then I end by reading my hate mail. But you've got to subscribe to it. which you can do at therebel.media/shows.